Welcome back to the Daily Doji. This is stock and crypto technical analysis, Elliott wave theory mostly, and we're going to be looking at several different things. We'll take a look at Bitcoin and the S&P 500, which is basically the market in general, and Bonk and Solana, why not? Doge and SHIB are up on my chart. And let's look at HEX and Crow and a few others. If there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments for the next video. All right, well, let's get right into it. I have done a count in several videos recently, so not that much has changed. Let's look at this full screen. This is the S&P, and I had this drawn. I probably drew this in a video because I never really draw stuff and leave it there like that unless I was making a video. Also, I want to say trade at your own risk, and I'm not necessarily recommending trading because it's not a good idea for a lot of people. You're not just going to magically be great at it without a lot of learning and effort. And then even still, after you learn a lot, there's still no guarantee that you could profit. So that being said, it is a risk, and be careful. Not financial advice, just be careful in general. All right, so I had this drawn out thinking that this might turn into a pattern, WXY pattern, something like this, which is a three-wave structure. And so far, there's really no more info that's leading me to believe anything else. So I'm just going to leave it for now, but there are more than one possible corrective pattern. So this is not the only possible correction that there could be. Now, Elliott impulse waves are always, well, they can vary a little bit, but in some ways they can't. It's a rule that they can't ever do certain things, but corrective waves can pretty much do almost whatever they want to some degree, so it's more difficult. And if you know, the more you know about Elliott waves, you'll understand that. If you're a beginner, check it out. There are some books out there. I have a course for beginners. There's a link somewhere, but I do this for fun, and research is fun for me. Most people don't do enough research and thus make ignorant decisions based on headlines. That's not how we do it here. We count the Elliott waves. So we're trying to count this Bonk wave, and this is a brand new coin, and again, disclaimer, I'm not recommending it or anything like that. I'm just looking at it because there's a chart and I want to analyze it, and I'm trading it, but it's brand new and I'm not fooling myself in the thinking it's only going to magically go up. I know that there's a risk, so I'm expecting another wave down when this corrective wave is hitting a line right here. Do you see it? Wham, wham, wham. Oh, almost hit it on that one. It didn't quite hit it in the last time. So is it going to come down one more time and try again? Or is this it? Is it a fake out almost at the bottom? There's no rule in Elliott waves saying it has to come back down to this. So when I count this wave sideways, I count the 1, 2, and 3 wave. And like I keep saying over and over in the videos, the reason it's difficult to track the 3-wave patterns are because they, unlike a 5-wave pattern, they overlap. So there's so much overlapping going on. And I see the 3-wave emerging now. I was waiting. And I might hypothetically buy this next wave down. But that's just me. And I'm, like I keep saying, not recommending to do that just because I'm doing it. It could be a mistake that I'm willing to make, but you might not be willing to make. So don't blame it on me if you do. All right, let's look at Doge. This one is also going sideways. Is it going to come down and form another like triangle pattern right here where there's some kind of resistance, and then I was expecting another wave up, but this wave down could come first. It already came down. It's making 3-wave patterns. Something like this. Is it, and then there's one more wave down, or was this the 1, 2, 3? So that's the challenge with this Doge chart. Let me get rid of this line. Okay, so let me delete this stuff from way back. So we had a 3-wave pattern going on in Doge right here, going up. And we came down 3 waves already. So I'm I feel a little bit biased though with this one. I'm hoping for a wave up. Another wave going up, like something like that. But could take its sweet time, or it could be just about to do it right now. However, these, like I keep warning about the corrective wave 3 patterns, is that they overlap in such a way that it's hard to call the next wave. But I don't think Doge ever bottomed out, even though if I was comparing it to like Solana or Shiba Inu, which looks a little bit different. Let's go back to Solana right here. So this one made more looking like a bottom right here, more so than the other coins that I've been looking at. And there's been maybe 1 or 2. I mean, this could have been the bottom, but even if this next wave continues to happen, it could come back and still make a bottom, because the way corrections work, like take this one for example. Here was a 3-wave pattern right here, 1, 2, 3, and then it failed. Oops. Trying to draw a circle. It failed right here. Instead of doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up, which would have been bullish, it didn't happen. This happened, and it failed. And that could happen here. And there could be another wave down. And I would not be surprised whatsoever. In fact, that's kind of what I'm thinking might happen. A lot of people are saying this is too weird of a market for it to be bullish right now? Maybe so. I just go by the chart is telling me, but I know with Elliott waves that corrective patterns can send 3 waves going up, and then it could die somewhere up there and come back down to another something maybe like that. And I'm not saying that I want that to happen or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's a possibility for the correction to look like it's going up, only do 3 waves, which is a corrective pattern. It's not a bullish pattern. And then it could come back down. This could be 3, or it could, maybe if it's going to want to finish up, if that's going to be the final wave down next, it could even send 5 waves going down. Something like, who knows exactly. There's probably some chart, more data before the one I'm looking at that might show wherever it might finally land, if it does indeed go to a new low. Or it could hit around that previous bottom again and make a really confusing few waves sideways, and then really start to impulse up after. Those are some of the potential scenarios. And when at the tail end of a correction, it's pretty challenging to predict. So I'm not trying to magically do anything. I'm just looking at the data that I have and giving some potential outcomes, if that makes sense. All right, I'll get rid of these circles just because they're going to annoy me later. But I should have taken a screenshot. Alrighty, well, let's move on to another coin. Ethereum looks very similar. Is it going to continue this wave and make one more? It's hard to say because there's already 3 waves going up. But are they subwaves or not? And this one kind of looked like 5 waves. So this could be then 5 waves. This could end up being, oops. Something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that would just be a, if that's the case, then I have this labeled wrong. And it would be ABC instead. Because when there are subwaves of 5, it's an ABC. It might sound complicated if you've never heard of it before, but once you learn about it, there's not that many different patterns to know about. So, all right, I'm going to get rid of that too. And let's look at HEX. Let's make it full screen. All right, so, I mean, the bottom could have been in. Is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that? Or if it makes one more wave up, it could be a WXY. Like something like this. Could have even happened, actually. 1, 2, 3. If it's still a corrective pattern, I just think that this could still possibly make a, it looks pretty bull. This looks the most bullish. However, look at that. That's not looking very bullish. It's still trending down comparing to, you see, these in general, it's flat or down. But the price is spiking, that means there's not as much strength. So I had drawn an example over here, it looks like, of what might happen, and it looks pretty good. Like, that is kind of what happened, right? I was just using it as a rough example. But what it did come up again and make a better, I was probably talking about a potential sell signal. And that doesn't mean I'm recommending you to sell. It just means I'm just keeping track of it for myself. But I'm not trading this at the moment, so it doesn't matter. But when the strength on the RSI starts going down and the price continues going up, that's a recipe for a good exit as far as I am usually looking for. Now, that's not the only way I base it. I also use other things like Elliott waves and the moving averages to make decisions. And also, don't trade more than you can afford to lose. That way you won't be, or you can paper trade, which is totally affordable because it's free. That way you won't lose anything and you'll just learn. So ideally, learning without paying the price, not that that's a financial advice, because it isn't. Just saying. Just thinking out loud. All right, so we could have another, I'm gazing at this while I'm just rambling. We could have another little wave up, like kind of like this right here. Could happen right there. Possibly, if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swing, which is basically a big 1, 2, 3. It can be confusing at first, though, because it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if it does come up for one more wave, some people are going to be like, what? And that's called a trap. Just remember, someone is always getting trapped. Be careful, it is not you. All right, we'll see how this goes. If it continues down and that wave was done, I mean, I probably, if I would have been trading that, I probably would have gotten out already. But then if there was one more coming up, what you do if you ladder in and out, then you don't necessarily go out all the way in case there's another wave up. But then you have to be prepared to have that potential loss. And if that's too complicated for you, then maybe it's not a good idea in the first place. But you could always get better with time. Just don't go broke while learning. So this looks like some more potentially bullish action on MATIC, which is one of the ones I've been eyeballing because it was having some massive moves, and like I think maybe Facebook announced at some point that they were going to be using MATIC for their Instagram NFTs or something. I don't know if that ever really took off, but there are some other companies too that were using MATIC. Now this could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, but it was pretty hard to read that wave because it also looked like just a 1, 2, 3. If so, then this, if that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there might be another 6, 7 that finishes a 3-wave pattern. Basically, like this. Something like that. Which would be the middle of a bigger 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? And the reason I would say this is because that's what some of those other coins might be doing. Until we see the clear 5 waves, the bullish case, this 1, 2 is a little bit too small, but it's possible that that could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I see a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So if that's the case, then this could have been a ABC correction, or even that could have just been the middle wave. Because this, if that was a sideways 1, 2, 3 like that, X or WXY. So if this wave fails here, how will we know? The way we'll know for sure is if it crosses into this territory of that price. So if it goes back below $1 and stays there, then that was not bullish. And we might have another corrective wave coming down, which could be something like this. Well, let me fix that. Something like that could be the end wave. But that's if it fails and crosses back into this wave's territory. Otherwise, if we see 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th wave, then I'll be getting more excited. But we're not there yet. There's no evidence of that yet. That's what I would be on the lookout for. But this is quite a sizable correction already. So it could be done, but corrections can, like I said earlier, they can go up 3 waves and then fail and make a whole nother corrective pattern. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but it's a possibility. All right. That's it for this video. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate your comments as well. Leave one there just for the algorithm to help out. And just say hi. I like to see who's watching and have a little bit of community in the comments. And keep it friendly, of course. We're doing this for fun and enlightenment. See you in the next video.